Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Danielson. Today I am doing another fragrance related topic. I'm going to talk about how I decant a fragrance. The first thing that I do is make sure that I have absolutely everything that I need. I make a list before I even start just to make sure I have everything I need and it's right beside me because when I first started doing this, I would start decanting and get in the middle of decanting and realize that I didn't have something that I needed and I would have to stop. So I write down a list of absolutely everything I need and it will be right beside me. The first thing that I need is a fragrance. And today I chose um, CK1 as my fragrance that I'm going to decant today, or pretend that I'm going to decant. And the reason I'm doing this is a lot of people in the fragrance community does not know how to decant fragrances, and I know a lot of people that want to know how to decant fragrances. I know a couple of people do it different ways, but this is how I do it specifically. It just feels like the right way to do it to me. So you're going to need a fragrance. You're going to need the decant. You can get decants in different sizes. I usually use either the 5 ml decants or the 10 ml decants. I send a lot of fragrances off in the mail to people that want to try some of the fragrances that I have. So I send a lot of fragrances off in the mail, and sometimes I'll send fragrances to other fragrance reviewers so they can try different things. But the decants I use usually is either the 5 ml or 10 ml glass decants that has atomizer on it. And the atomizer is the sprayer. I always make sure to use glass decants. Never use plastic decants. Another thing that you're going to need is scissors. I'll show you why in a minute. Another thing you're going to need is labels. You can get these at like Office Depot or any like office supply store. They're little labels um, that look like this. Um, I get this kind. They're little sticky labels that have the sticky back on it. You can write stuff down on here. If I label something, I always make sure to write it down first before I do anything. And then if you need to cut it, you can just cut out whatever you need to make it fit the decant itself. So you're going to need sticky labels because you always want to make sure your decants are labeled so you know what fragrance is inside. Another thing you're going to need is a pen, and I always use the fine or extra fine point. So you're going to need to write really small. So make sure you use like extra fine point um, to write down the name of the fragrance on the label. You're going to need, you can get this at Lowe's or plumbing supply stores or Home Depot or all kinds of, you can get them in grocery stores, I believe. It's called thread seal tape. You're going to need that, and I'll show you why in a minute. It looks like that. If you send it off in the mail, you're going to need bubble wrap that looks like this. And if you like send off decants in the mail, you're probably going to need bubble wrap. If you get fragrances in the mail from like Fragrance X or Fragrance Net or some place like that or anywhere, and the fragrance that you order and get in the mail has bubble wrap, always make sure you keep bubble wrap. I have a huge bag full of bubble wrap um, that I get because I order a lot of fragrances, and I always keep that bubble wrap um, in case I do need to use bubble wrap when I send fragrances off. I already have it, and I don't have to go to the post office and buy it or anywhere else. I already have it, and it was actually given to me. You're also going to need funnel. And usually, when you order like decants online, I usually order my decants on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description on the place where I get the decants. Usually, I order like 12 decants at a time because I ship so many decants off to people. Usually, the funnel, if you order at least 6 or 12, there's funnels that automatically come when you do order the decants. So you'll have a funnel, you'll need that. And if you send decants off in the mail, you're going to need an envelope. And the kind of envelopes that I use actually have bubble wrap inside anyway. But a little tip, this white envelope with bubble wrap inside is very glossy and very slick on the outside. Make sure you don't use these bubble wrap envelopes, the one that's really glossy on the outside, because if you write an address on one of these that's really glossy, the ink will not dry. Even after like an hour, I've wrote somebody's address on here with ink, and even an hour later, I actually accidentally touched the ink and it just smeared all over this place. The ink does not dry on these glossy ones. So make sure you use envelopes with bubble wrap or envelopes period that's not really glossy on the outside like this, because the ink will dry better on the ones that's not really glossy. All right, let's start. First thing I do is take my decant. Usually I'll put a label on it before I do anything. It doesn't really matter. This is just the way I do it. I always make sure that my decants are labeled so I will know what fragrance is inside. So today I just made up a fragrance called I'm a Sexy Beast. So always make sure you like put a label on it so you know what juice is in it. You're going to unscrew the decant like this, and you're going to take your sealant tape. Now, watch how I do this. Watch how I do this because it's very, very important you do this the right way. I don't use much sealant tape. I just cut it like that. Now, watch how I do this. It's very important. Okay, you see how I'm starting this? Make sure you start this way and just sort of like go around, put your thumb on it so it doesn't go. And I just sort of twist with my other hand like that. Now you see how I'm doing this, and you see how the end of this is going this way. The reason I do it this way and not this way is because when you take the top, the sprayer part, and put it on, you want to make sure when you tighten it down, it's following the way the seal tape is, because if you put the seal tape on this way and then put the sprayer on and twist it this way, it could possibly like start unraveling that seal tape a little bit. So actually always make sure you put the seal tape on this way, because when you put the top on, it's going to follow the direction of the seal tape and it will seal it really good to keep the fragrance from leaking out anywhere. So that's the reason I put the seal tape on that way. Now, always make sure you put the seal tape on your decant before you put the juice or start doing this. You put the little funnel in there, and you're going to take your fragrance and just start putting the fragrance, squirting the fragrance inside the decant. Make sure you get really close and make sure that that little hole is close to the opening of the funnel, and just spray it until you get how much ever you want in the decant, and take the atomizer off like that, and put the top on this way. See how that's going the same way that the sealant tape is. Make sure you tighten it really, really well, and put your label on like that. I'm a Sexy Beast, and there you have it. Now, when you do this, when you spray the juice in here, you're going to get mist that comes out of the funnel, and you're probably going to get some fragrance on your hand. So if you don't want fragrance on your hand, make sure you wear gloves or either wash your hands after you're done, because you will get like a little mist that comes out and it's going to get on your hands. But anyway, that's the way that I do decanting. So if you have any questions, just let me know. And I will talk to you guys later. And I will be back with something else sometime. All right. Love you guys. Bye.